The spoon drops. Your baby sees it hit the floor, and within 1 second, the whole room changes. A sharp cry, then a louder one. Back arches, face reddens. It sounds wildly disproportionate, almost theatrical, like this tiny human is reacting to a personal betrayal. And then two very different stories can unfold. One mother stays soft. She reaches down, speaks slowly, keeps her voice low, and somehow the moment passes without catching fire. Another feels something surge through her so fast it scares her. Her jaw tightens, her chest gets hot. She snaps, not because she wants to, but because the sound seems to hit some invisible tripwire. From the outside, we usually tell a simple story. One mom is patient, one mom is short-tempered, one is calm by nature. One can't handle it. But that explanation leaves out the most important part. Because the difference between snapping and staying calm often begins long before the words come out. It begins in the nervous system, in stress biology, in sleep loss, in a mother's own attachment history, in how the baby's behavior is being read by the brain in real time. And once you see that, these moments stop looking like random personality. They start looking like something much deeper. The first thing to understand is that baby behavior is not emotionally neutral for adults. A baby's cry is not just a sound in the environment. It is one of the most biologically salient signals a human being can hear. Researchers like James Swain, who studies the parental brain, have shown that infant cries rapidly activate networks involved in attention, emotion, action, and alarm. In plain language, a baby's distress call does not politely request your focus. It grabs it. It is designed to. Evolution made it difficult to ignore because ignoring it would have been costly. So when a mother seems too reactive to crying, whining, clinginess, bedtime resistance, or relentless fussing, we need to be careful. The moment may look small from the outside, but it is not entering her brain as small. Her system may be receiving it as urgent. And that matters because the brain does not react to input in a vacuum. It reacts based on current load. If the nervous system is already strained, the baby's signal lands differently. The amygdala, the brain's alarm center, becomes quicker to fire. The prefrontal cortex, the part that helps with perspective, inhibition, and flexible thinking, has a harder time staying online. And this is one reason stress changes personality so dramatically. It doesn't create a whole new person. It changes which systems are available in the moment, and then there's sleep. One of the most reliable ways to shrink a person's emotional margin is to fragment their sleep over and over again. Research on sleep deprivation has shown stronger emotional reactivity and weaker regulatory control when the brain is overtired. In everyday terms, the breaks get worse while the alarm gets louder. That is why a mother can love her baby deeply and still feel one more cry like a physical assault at 3:12 in the morning. Not because she is cold, because she is neurologically overwhelmed. This is also why the phrase, "just stay calm," can feel so insulting. It assumes calm is a simple choice. Often it isn't. Often it is a body state that depends on whether the mother has enough regulation left to access. And motherhood changes that body state in ways many people never talk about honestly enough. There's a reason the transition into motherhood can feel strangely raw, even when it is wanted and joyful. The term matrescence, first coined by Dana Raphael and later brought into wider conversation by psychiatrist Alexandra Sachs, describes this developmental shift into motherhood. Not just a lifestyle change, a full identity and biological transition. Research from scientists like Elseline Hoxema has found measurable brain changes across pregnancy and the postpartum period, especially in networks related to salience and social understanding. The basic meaning is powerful. A mother is not just caring for a baby, her brain is being retuned toward that baby. And here's the part people miss, that retuning does not always feel peaceful. Bonding is not the same thing as serenity. Sometimes bonding feels like tenderness. Sometimes it feels like hypervigilance. Sometimes it feels like your body can no longer treat the baby's distress as background noise. The same brain changes that make a mother exquisitely responsive can also make her feel more pierced by the baby's signals. So the mother who snaps may not be the one who cares less. In some cases, she may be the one whose system is registering the baby's distress too intensely, too quickly, with too little recovery time. That is a huge reframe, because it means a snap is not always the opposite of love. Sometimes it is what happens when care arrives in the body as alarm, and there is nowhere for that alarm to go. Now, if this is true for many mothers, why do some still seem calmer than others? Part of the answer lives in history. Attachment theory, shaped by researchers like John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, taught us that early relationships do not just shape beliefs, they shape regulation. They help wire our expectations around distress, comfort, closeness, and recovery. If you were soothed consistently, your nervous system may have learned very early that distress can be survived without panic. If you grew up around unpredictability, criticism, volatility, or emotional neglect, distress can feel very different. It can feel contagious. It can feel dangerous. It can feel like the beginning of chaos. That history does not sit in the mind as a neat little story. A lot of it lives lower than that, in reflexes, in bodily expectation, in what psychotherapists sometimes call implicit memory. So when a baby screams in your arms, you are not just hearing a baby scream. Sometimes your whole system is reacting to what distress has meant in your life for years. That doesn't mean you are doomed to repeat anything. It means the moment is bigger than it looks. And there's another layer that makes this even more interesting. The nervous system reacts not just to sound, but to meaning. A baby's meltdown can be interpreted in very different ways inside the adult mind. One mother hears, "My baby is overloaded and needs help." Another, especially if she is exhausted or ashamed or unsupported, hears something closer to, "I'm failing, I can't do this, I'm trapped." Why is this never enough? Same cry, a different internal translation. And that translation changes physiology. When behavior feels like information, the brain can stay more organized. When behavior feels like accusation, rejection, disrespect, or proof of inadequacy, stress rises fast. This is one reason knowledge matters so much. Not because information makes parenting easy, but because understanding changes what the body thinks is happening. A baby refusing sleep is not delivering a verdict on you. A clingy baby is not necessarily becoming too dependent. A toddler losing it during a transition is not usually making a calculated power move. Often what looks dramatic is developmental. Emotion surges before control catches up. Attachment strengthens and separation gets louder. And the nervous system floods before language can explain it. The scream that sounds unreasonable is often a brain that cannot yet downshift on its own. And that leads to one of the most important truths in early caregiving. Babies are not born able to regulate themselves well. For a long time, they borrow regulation. Through your face, your voice, your pacing, your touch, your rhythm. Co-regulation is the bridge before self-regulation exists. In other words, your baby's nervous system is using yours as part of its environment, which means these moments are never just about behavior management. They are about two nervous systems meeting each other. One very immature, one often stretched to the edge, and that brings us to the most unfair part of all. The mothers we call calm are often not simply better people. They may be more supported people. They may have had more sleep, more emotional safety, more practical help, a partner who notices, a family member who steps in, financial breathing room, therapy, medication that is finally helping, a body that is less sensory sensitive to noise, a childhood that gave them stronger models for repair, even something as basic as food, rest, and a moment alone. Psychologist James Cone's work on social support has shown how deeply human beings regulate through connection. We calm down differently when we are not carrying threat alone. So the calm we admire in mothers is often not just personal virtue, and it is nervous system scaffolding. This is why comparison becomes so distorted in parenthood. You are looking at someone else's visible reaction without seeing the invisible regulation holding it up. And there's a twist here too. Not all calm is actually calm. Sometimes what looks like extraordinary patience is real regulation, but sometimes it is numbness, shutdown, dissociation, emotional depletion so deep it resembles serenity from the outside. So we have to stop using surface behavior as the whole diagnosis. A snapping mother is not automatically unstable. A silent mother is not automatically fine. What matters is what is happening beneath the visible behavior, and whether there is connection, recovery, and repair. This is where the stakes become real. Because while occasional snapping is human, repeated uncontained reactivity does matter. And if a mother feels constantly on edge, if baby cues trigger rage, panic, dread, or a strong urge to escape, if the guilt afterward is crushing, if there is numbness or hopelessness or intrusive thoughts, that is not something to dismiss as just being a bad mom. It can be a sign of postpartum depression, anxiety, trauma activation, sensory overload, burnout, ADHD-related overwhelm, or a nervous system that is simply carrying too much for too long. And the sooner that gets seen with compassion, the better. Not because we need mothers to perform perfection, but because suffering changes interaction, and interaction shapes development. This is where a lot of parents feel a jolt of fear. They hear that connection matters and immediately think, then every time I lose it, I am damaging my child. That's not what the research says. Donald Winnicott famously argued that children do not need a perfect mother. They need a good enough one. And Ed Tronick's work, including the still face research, helped show something many parents find deeply relieving. Healthy relationships are full of mismatches. The magic is not that rupture never happens. The magic is that repair happens often enough. That changes everything, because it means the moment after the snap matters enormously. The return matters. The softening matters. The reconnection matters. When a parent says, in whatever words fit the child's age, I got overwhelmed. I am here now, something powerful happens. The child does not learn that love is flawless. The child learns that disconnection can be repaired, that intense moments can come back to safety, and that feelings are survivable, and honestly, that may be one of the deepest lessons a child can learn. So why do some moms snap easily and others stay calm? Because what looks like temperament is often threshold. What looks like patience is often bandwidth. What looks like overreaction is often a nervous system receiving baby distress as emergency. What looks like mystery in a baby's behavior is often a meaningful developmental signal colliding with an adult system that may or may not have enough support to hold it. That ordinary kitchen moment is not ordinary at all. It is a baby with an unfinished brain, sending out a signal the only way they can. It is a mother whose brain and body have been retuned by care, stress, love, sleep loss, history, and culture. It is attachment happening in real time. It is neuroscience wearing the clothes of daily life. And once you see that, the question changes. Instead of asking, why can't she just be calmer? You start asking, what is this moment doing inside her? Instead of asking, what is wrong with this baby? You start asking, what is this behavior communicating? Instead of turning everything into character, you begin to see systems, signals, and needs. That is the real science. And it is also, I think, the more humane story. Because some of the mothers who judge themselves the hardest are not failing. They are flooded. Some of the babies who seem the most difficult are not being dramatic. They are developing. And some of the most painful parenting moments are not proof that love is missing. They are proof that two vulnerable nervous systems are trying, in real time, to find each other. If this brought up a moment you've had, a moment you snapped, or a moment you stayed calm and later realized how much was holding that calm in place, tell me in the comments. I'd love to know which part hit home for you. And if you want more of the hidden psychology beneath everyday parenting moments, subscribe. There's a lot more going on in these small scenes than most people ever get told.